No one in American politics saw it coming. Texas Senate District 9 was supposed to be a guaranteed Republican victory, the kind of district where Democrats don't even bother celebrating early polling numbers. For years, it had been a deep red fortress. Donald Trump had won it comfortably in previous elections. Republicans considered it safe territory. But politics has a way of humiliating arrogance. On election night, something unbelievable happened. Democrat Taylor Remmett defeated Republican Lee Wambsgans, a result that instantly sent shockwaves through conservative circles. What was expected to be a routine GOP win turned into a national embarrassment. And this wasn't just any Republican candidate. This was a candidate personally promoted by Donald Trump. In the days leading up to the election, Trump had flooded his Truth Social platform with glowing praise. He didn't casually mention her name. He championed her. He called Wambsgans a phenomenal candidate. He described her as an incredible supporter of MAGA. He urged his base and his loyal army of America First patriots to show up and vote for her. This was classic Trump, loud, confident, public ownership of the race. The message was clear. This was his candidate. This was his fight. This was another MAGA win in the making. Republicans poured money into the race. Campaign ads flooded local media. Trump's endorsement was treated as the final seal of victory. But voters delivered a brutal reality check. Taylor Remmett won, and suddenly, the man who had loudly claimed credit before the election was nowhere to be found after the loss. Within hours, Trump's tone changed completely. When reporters asked about the race, he brushed it off like it meant nothing. It was a local Texas race, he said casually. I wasn't involved. Not involved? The same man who had publicly endorsed the candidate multiple times, the same man who urged his followers to vote, the same man whose political brand dominated the campaign, now claiming he barely knew about it. And that's when the backlash exploded. In modern politics, nothing disappears. Receipts live forever. And within minutes of Trump's denial, social media filled with screenshots of his endorsements, his own words, still fresh, still visible, still undeniable. Journalists, historians, political analysts, all of them jumped in. But one comment went viral faster than anything else. Princeton historian Kevin Cruz laid it out in one brutal sentence. 2 days ago, he used his platform to endorse this phenomenal candidate. Today, he says he had nothing to do with it. He's lying or demented or both. That line hit like a political earthquake. He's lying or demented. It wasn't just criticism. It was an accusation of either deliberate dishonesty or cognitive decline. And suddenly, headlines everywhere echoed the same phrase. Major progressive outlets blasted Trump for trying to erase his own involvement. News aggregators picked it up. Political commentators repeated it on TV and podcasts. The story wasn't just about a Republican loss anymore. It became about Trump's pattern, a pattern Americans have seen before. When Trump-backed candidates win, he takes full credit. When they lose, suddenly he was never involved. Political consultant Zach Williams, a Texan who closely followed the race, pointed out something even more damaging. Republicans didn't just casually support this campaign. They poured money into it. They outspent Democrats heavily. They treated it like a critical battle because Trump's influence was attached to it. This wasn't some random local contest. It was a test of MAGA power in a deep red district. And MAGA lost. Then came another voice, former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh. Once a conservative ally, now a fierce Trump critic, Walsh didn't hold back. He called Trump dishonest. He called him destructive. And he suggested the loss reflected growing backlash against Trump's leadership style. Not just Democrats rejecting him, but voters, even in Republican strongholds, starting to push back. That idea terrified GOP strategists. Because Texas districts weren't supposed to flip, not like this, not with Trump's endorsement. The denial wasn't just embarrassing, it was revealing. For seasoned political observers, this moment felt strangely familiar because Trump has done this before, over and over again. When candidates ride his endorsement to victory, he calls it proof of his unmatched political power. When they lose, he distances himself instantly. I barely knew them. I wasn't involved. It wasn't my race. It's a strategy. Avoid responsibility, control the narrative, rewrite reality. But this time, the evidence was too clear. His endorsements were public. His praise was enthusiastic. His involvement was undeniable. And that's why critics didn't just accuse him of lying. They raised something more serious. If Trump wasn't lying, then what did it say about his awareness? That's where the demented accusation gained traction. Not as an insult, but as a political warning. Some analysts argued that repeatedly forgetting or denying documented actions either shows extreme dishonesty or cognitive decline. Either option is alarming for a former and potentially future president. The Texas loss itself carried deeper meaning, too. It wasn't just about one seat. It suggested cracks in Trump's grip on Republican voters. If Democrats can win in districts Trump once dominated, the political map for future elections starts shifting dramatically. It suggests fatigue. It suggests backlash. It suggests voters quietly saying, enough. And Trump's immediate denial only amplified that narrative. Instead of owning the loss and rallying supporters, he tried to erase his connection, which made the story explode even bigger. Now headlines weren't about a Texas election. They were about credibility, about honesty, about leadership, about whether the man who once reshaped American politics is now losing both influence and control of the truth. And perhaps most telling of all, right-leaning media largely avoided the story. No strong defenses, no major counter-narratives, just silence, because the evidence was too obvious. You can spin many things in politics, but you can't spin screenshots. What happened in Texas wasn't just a local upset. It was a political moment, a moment that exposed contradiction, a moment that revealed shrinking influence, a moment that reignited serious questions about honesty and accountability. Trump loudly claimed victory before the election, then ran from responsibility after defeat, and in doing so handed critics the most damaging headline of all: he's lying, or he's losing touch with reality. In American politics, perception shapes power, and right now that perception is shifting, not quietly, not slowly, but in full public view.